analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpillon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please the sport.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. .264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation.
Well, hello and welcome to the Media News and Voice of the People television. I am David Edwin. Before we begin the news, we would urge you to kindly visit our website. It's at www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news stories. First, the headlines. George recuses himself from Malami's case. APC and Nnpp deny Kwankwaso'S complicity. NAFDAC denies federal government directive, insists on sachet alcohol ban. Police rescue 2 arrest kidnapped suspects in Adamawa State. Abure faction slams judiciary. In the world of business, Nigeria's crude output hits 1.459 million BPD in January. In sports, CAF starts stadium inspection. And in entertainment, NFVCB approves 102 films in January. And now the news in full. Justice Obiora Gwatu has recused himself from the 2 cases filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, against the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami. Justice Gwatu, who was recently reassigned the case by the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Toshua, said that he decided to withdraw from the 2 cases for personal reasons and for better interest of justice. The development followed shortly after the civil suit for forfeiture of 57 property allegedly linked to Malami was called for mention. The cases were formally before Justice Emeka Nwite, who sat as vacation judge during the Christmas break. Away from that report, the All Progressive Congress APC and a faction of the New Nigeria People's Party, that's the Nnpp, have rejected the United States lawmaker proposed visa bans and asset freezes against former governor of Kano State, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, over alleged violation of religious freedom in Nigeria. Introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives, the Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026 bill recommends visa ban and asset freezes under the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act against individuals and entities accused of involvement in religious freedom abuses. However, the APC Director of Publicity, Bala Ibrahim, criticized the proposed sanctions, insisting that the allegation alone could not justify curtailing Kwankwaso'S freedom of movement without a fair hearing and due process. The party described the U.S. as a symbol of democracy and cautioned its government against taking action that it described as solely based on allegations. Similarly, the faction of Nnpp loyal to Kwankwaso described the planned seizure of its national leader as blackmail. Addressing newsmen in Abuja, the National Publicity Secretary, Ladiko Johnson, dismissed any suggestion that he was responsible for religious freedom violations as contrived. And in Adamawa State, the Adamawa State Police Command has rescued 2 teenagers abducted in Song local government area of the state and arrested a suspected kidnapper during a joint security operation. The victims, Rabi Maman Sani and Aminu Maman Sani, were kidnapped from Gwewan village in Duni. They were rescued unharmed on February 11, 2026, during a coordinated raid on a suspected kidnapper's hideout at Sustuk Mountain. In a statement, police public relations officer Sulaiman Yahya Ngoroje said the operation was carried out by police in collaboration with local security outfits. He credited the sources to the strategic development of assets by Commissioner of Police Dan Kobo Morris. Police say efforts are ongoing to track down other members of the syndicate who escaped during the raid as the anti-kidnapping unit continues its investigation. Residents are urged to report suspicious individuals, particularly those with gunshot wounds. Still talking security, the Anambra State Police Command has arrested 3 men over alleged illegal possession of firearm and involvement in illicit drug activities. Police spokesperson SP Tochukwu Ikenga confirmed the arrest in a statement in Oka, Anambra State's capital, saying the suspects were apprehended in a motel in the state. He said one of the suspects, identified as the motel owner, confessed during interrogation. The confession led to the arrest of the 2 others and the recovery of substances suspected to be cannabis, crystal methamphetamine, and colos. Ikenga reiterated the command's commitment to sustaining operations against criminal elements in the state. As the federal government intensifies efforts to tackle worsening insecurity and following support by Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu for last year's U.S. airstrike in Sokoto State, a public affairs analyst, Ubong Thompson, spoke on the developments in an interview with VOP TV's Matthew Ogunswada.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has welcomed recent United States military strikes against terrorist groups in northern Nigeria, describing the Christmas Day operation ordered by President Donald Trump as a positive step. Speaking in Washington, D.C., she said Nigeria is looking forward to deeper security collaboration with the U.S. as the country battles insurgents and bandits responsible for killings and kidnappings across several regions.
Whatever is happening, at times, who would have, you said President Trump recognized me. Who would have thought that would happen, to even say the least? So when you look at that, I'm getting global recognition in all of it, despite, and that is what life is all about. The country is moving forward. We're trying to make sure that insecurity we can tackle. And the president has even changed the service chiefs. They've replaced them with new ones. So we're looking at reforms. In November, because of what is going on and the world concern about Nigerian Christians, the government, my husband declared a state of emergency on the 26th November 2026 and on insecurity. And by that, what did he do? He had to ask the police inspector general to recruit additional 50,000 police officers. And then the soldiers, 24,000 officers, so that they can help in, to secure insecurity. And not only that, there are 10,000 forest guards that were not carrying arms before. It said they should be armed so that they can secure the forest where all those terrorist groups, take hiding, and so that, and also the bandits and people that are, killing for ransom or asking people, kidnapping for ransom rather. So those are the target. And also not only that, 11,566 police officers that were under VIP assignments have been recalled, and they've been sent to all the hotspot areas in Nigeria.
Mrs. Tinubu noted that the violence in Nigeria affects both Christian and Muslim communities, stressing that extremist groups target anyone who rejects their ideology. She added that the government has ordered a national security emergency is recruiting 50,000 police officers and has redeployed thousands of security personnel to troubled areas to restore stability and boost investor confidence. Voice of the People TV spoke to Ubong Thompson, public affairs analyst and good governance advocate, who called for stronger and lasting solutions to insecurity across the country.
The military intervention in Nigeria is quite pathetic because it goes a long way to expose the leadership, ability of a president, which is saddled with the number one responsibility to, protect life and properties of Nigerians. So allowing the intervention of US military in Nigeria in the fight against Boko Haram is very, very unfortunate, but it's quite necessary at a time like this because we need peace to return in those areas that are being occupied by the Boko Haram, members. So since Nigeria are unable to carry out this fight effectively, then we are not unmindful of the fact that we also have foreign allies that can come in to aid, the country in the fight against the Boko Haram menace. So this will go a long way to eliminate the terrorist activities in northern parts of Nigeria.
As calls for security grows across the country, Nigerians are calling for lasting solutions to insecurity, which requires immediate government intervention. Matthew Ogunswada, reporting for Voice of the People Television.
Well, thank you so very much, Matthew, for that report. Moving on to other stories, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has dismissed as false and misleading the claim that the federal government has directed it to suspend the enforcement of the ban on sachet alcohol and alcoholic beverages packaged in PET bottles between 200 ml. In a statement by the NAFDAC Director General, Chief Executive Officer, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, the agency refuted receiving such directive from the federal government, insisting that the prohibition remained fully in force. Adeyeye described the circulation publication as inaccurate and not reflective of any official government communication, reiterating that the agency operates strictly within its statutory mandate and in line with duly communicated federal policies. According to her, at no time has the agency received any directive to suspend its regulatory or enforcement activities regarding sachet alcohol and small volume alcoholic beverages. Well, in the meantime, members of the Food, Beverage and Tobacco Senior Staff Association, FUTOB, have shut down the Lagos office of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. The action was in protest against the agency's continued enforcement of the sachet alcohol ban in spite of what they claim was clear directive from the federal government to halt the action, drawn largely from distiller companies affected by the ban and protesting workers demanded, among others, the immediate release of products allegedly placed on hold by NAFDAC and the reopening of factories and depots sealed during recent enforcement operations. The controversy stemmed from a statement by the Special Advisor on Public Affairs to the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, Terence Kanum, that while the Federal Minister of Health under President Bola Tinubu's directive has signed a national alcohol policy, NAFDAC should refrain from sealing factories or warehouses until the policy was fully operationalized. Moving on, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, that's the NSCDC, is in Oyo State, has warned road construction companies and contractors against destroying fiber optic cables and other critical public infrastructure during excavation and construction activities. In a statement to that effect, NSCDC Public Relations Officer Samuel Okpebi said the warning was in strict compliance with the directive of the Office of the National Security Advisor on the protection of telecommunications infrastructure and other critical national assets and infrastructure nationwide. Okwebi said the command has noted with grave concerns the increasing incidence of damage to the underground fiber optic installations due to negligence, poor planning, and failure to verify the presence of communication lines before excavation. He explained that these actions have resulted in the disruption of internet services, banking operations, emergency communications, government services, and commercial activities, thereby posing serious threats to public safety, economic stability, and national security. Consequently, the NSCDC, Oyo State Command, directs that all construction and excavation work in the state must be preceded by proper verification of underground utility in line with the national directive. Johnson made the remarks during a television interview while addressing concerns about internal division following the party's historic performance in the 2023 general elections. He insisted that the Aburi-led group remains the party's legitimate leadership, saying it is recognized by the party's constitution, the Electoral Act, and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Johnson, who alleged that some court rulings have undermined the party's internal structures. Moving on, the Lagos State the Lagos State government has announced a major traffic diversion and partial road closure across Victoria Island and Lekki ahead of the February 14, 2026 Lagos City Marathon. In a statement, Commissioner for Transport, Oluwaseun Oshiemi, urged motorists to plan ahead and use alternative routes, as several roads along the 42-kilometer and 10-kilometer race route will be closed from midnight and reopened intermittently as runners progress. The government said this marathon will feature 2 simultaneous races across key areas of Victoria Island and the Lekki axis of the state. Oshiemi assured residents that traffic officials will be deployed to ease movement and minimize disruption. The government says the measures are aimed at ensuring the safety of participants and commuters. You're still watching the media news right here on Voice of the People Television. We'll go straight to the analysis segment of the news. And joining us now to make sense of these stories and more is Mr. Dele Fanimo. Mr. Fanimo is a seasoned reporter right here in Nigeria and also a public and political affairs analyst and commentator. Thank you so very much, Mr. Fanimo. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. My pleasure.
All right, then, joining us also virtually is Mr. Ismail Oladare. Mr. Ismail is a Take It Back movement member and also a public and political affairs analyst and commentator. Mr. Ismail, a very good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining the conversation this afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me this afternoon.
Thank you so very much. Well, let me start off from the studio here. And this story is no more news again, but it's made it to the bulletin this afternoon. Mr. Fanimo, interestingly, Aburi's faction is at it again. The deputy national youth leader of the Aburi faction clearly is saying that the INEC and, of course, the courts are clearly in disarray and questioning the state of Nigeria's democracy with the pronouncement of the Aburi faction as not the leadership of the Labour Party. We've heard that these particular faction will still go to court to, of course, fight that decision by the other courts. But looking at these statements, Mr. Fanimo, where does that leave the Labour Party? A party that in 2023 general election did got some level of weight, some would say, as a result of the fact of one man that joined the party?
You see, let's not be confused about the state of health of Labour Party before intervention came from the obedient and using P2B as the arrowhead to contest last year's election. Labour Party was in the ICU that I usually say here. It's a 50-50, either it will die or it will remain comatose. But that would be the second time. That would be the second time they were brought from the ICU. The first time was when Mimiko, and he felt he could use that platform. He went for it, contested, won the election, and as soon as he got into the government house, he disembarked and went back to his political party. And I'm not too sure if Obi wouldn't have done the same if he had won that election in 2023. So maybe it's like the king and the horseman. You see, when the king is riding to the market, everybody pay obeisance to the king.
Right.
But unfortunately, the horse will now believe that they are paying obeisance to him. And in some cases, you see the horse dancing. But let the king disembark from the horse, and the horse is leashed and being taken back to his manger. You see that nobody cares, nobody even bothers to see or even look at that horse again. I think the Abure faction overrated themselves, believing that they were the ones moving the party, and they allowed their narrow selfish interest to override the general interest of the average Nigerian that had pitched their tent with P2B, and the rest, as they say, is history today. So, for me, it's going to remain like this till after 2023 election. Maybe after
27 election.
The 27 election. Maybe after that, we now begin to look at the way forward for this political party.
All right, then. But let me take this conversation to Mr. Ismail. Well, again, this is a conversation that is ongoing. And like I said earlier, before Mr. Fanimo here reacted, the Abure faction still states that they are going to go to court, particularly to appeal that judgment by the court, declaring the Nnpp faction as the right head of the Labour Party. But looking at these particular conversation, how much of a structure would you say that party, Labour Party, have had so far, even after the level of success they gained in 2023? How much of a structure damage are they doing to themselves with this level of internal rancor? Mr. Ismail.
Yeah, I mean, the fact therein is that whether they are having this internal rancor or not, Labour Party has been decimated. They have been buried. The person who actually gave them that 2023 mainstream attention was Peter Obi. Now Peter Obi has left. It was that wave that made them have this House of Assembly, House of Rep, and Senate seats.
Yeah.
But almost all of their elected officials have defected out of the party. So even if they are not having this internal rancor, there is nothing left in their structures. All their political figurehead have left. All their structures have left. The major structure they have was the obedient movement. They've left them for the ADC. So they actually don't have anything left. So the internal rancor going on is just the final lapse of a total collapse of the Labour Party.
Quite unfortunate there, because I was really going to hope that from your perspective, there might just be an optimistic view of the Labour Party in the near future, because again, they still have a sitting governor in Abia State who some say is still a bit loyal to the movement of the person of Peter Obi as well. Do you share that sentiment as well?
This Abia governor Alex Soti,
Yes.
has been seen publicly supporting the APC president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has been seen everywhere with Peter Obi, who is now in the ADC. So, in the real sense, this is tantamount to anti-party activities, right? So, if at all the Labour Party is serious, they should have issued a warning, if not expel Alex Soti by now for anti-party activities. Because you can't be a part or a governor, a sitting governor under Labour Party, and you are supporting a presidential hopeful of the APC and fraternizing with a presidential hopeful of the ADC. No, that it doesn't work. Politics doesn't work that way. But we understand what politics means to them. It's about interest. Where your interests align in the federal, you align. Where it aligns in your state, you align. So that's the kind of politics they play. So all these things are just.
All right. Let me move to another conversation quickly. Now, your state, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, that's the NSCDC, has clearly warned road construction companies and, of course, contractors against destroying fiber optic cables and other critical public infrastructure during excavation and construction activities. Now, some have said that these construction companies clearly do this thing because some of them are not professional enough and they still gain this contract from governments. Do you share this sentiment? Because if truly they are very, very professional enough, they should be able to identify where fiber optic cables and some critical infrastructures are before going to dig and destroy some of this infrastructure. What's your take? Are you there, Mr. Ismail?
Yeah. Sorry, I was unable to unmute. So as you know, I'm from Oyo State.
Right.
And for the longest time, we've always had this issue with the governor, Seyi Makinde, who for the past 1 year has been busy with politics. And instead of governance, and it's more like he has ambitions, a federal ambition, whether it's Senate, whether it's presidency, whether it's vice presidency. In the coming weeks, we'll get to know. So this ambition has been the major direction of our governor for the past 1 year. But then you see things going on in the states, and it's quite sad that we are still warning, issue statements for people to do the right thing, when we can easily make all these things easy. When we can digitalize. But now we should have a drone monitoring all these fiber this thing that we have. You don't have to be issuing statements for people to stop doing illegal activities. No, it doesn't work. Statements don't stop people from committing crime or doing illegalities.
All right,
so it is actions, boots on the ground. But this our governor is not interested in all that. He's interested in politics.
All right,
and it's quite sad.
Oh, well, let me bring this conversation back to the studio. Mr. Fadimo, interestingly, you heard Mr. Ismail say at the moment, the governor of the state is interested in politics and not governance in the past 6-7 months because he's been having different back and forth. I mean, I also bet to disagree, but it's
when
his option.
did he visit his home state?
It's his option. It's his opinion, I beg your pardon.
I reside in Ibadan, and I go to other places in Oyo State. My wife is from the state, and I know how much Makinde has done in the last 6-8 months.
Okay.
You understand, in terms of building infrastructure. Yes, he might be playing politics, which is understandable. He doesn't want to. He's a young man. By the time he's leaving office, probably he will be 55. So what is he going to be doing till he attains the ripe age of 70? At least that is the minimum according to the Bible. So he has to be in the fray if he goes for any particular position and he doesn't win, and there is compromise for his support and all that, and they offer him a ministerial position or ambassadorial position, he's still part of working within the corridors of power. So, but then that has not made him abdicate his responsibility in Oyo State.
Now, looking at the part that these construction workers in this state are clearly going to dig as far as fiber axis of the state.
It's not peculiar to Oyo State.
It's not peculiar to Oyo State as well.
It's
because
everywhere.
There's been an experience of such even in Lagos as well as Port Harcourt. These are cities, if you want to, use these words. But the fact that this is consistently happening, and it has to take the directive of the national security advisor of the entire country to make that statement that NSCDC is lynching upon right now. Do you think that this clearly is an indication of the fact that some of our contractors who handles these jobs are not top professional enough, or they do not even have the right equipment to go digging and identifying that there are fiber optics on the ground?
I would rather blame, there is no government contract that is given to a contractor without some level of rules of engagement.
Okay.
I would have expected that the Ministry of Works, they have architects, they have civil engineers, they have structural engineers, they have quantity surveyors and all that. They should have, because of the exigencies of the time, should have brought in communication experts who would help them trace the route or routes of these cables, and then be part of the contractual agreement that if you breach any of these lines, you are going to be held responsible, and you will be made to fix it back before your payment is made according to thresholds. You see that those contractors will conform. But where you just give somebody roads to construct,
without identifying,
these are underground cables, and the driver who is supposed to do the excavation is probably somebody who doesn't understand all these things. Then there should be somebody who is probably electronic engineer who would guide him and mark out those routes to the extent that the man would avoid it and allow manual digging that will not compromise. But somebody is just given, a tractor driver is just given, look, make sure you dig 6 feet below level on this route from here to international airport.
So you're saying this is clearly going to be a collective effort on the part of the government as well?
Yes, the contractor and the government, the agency or ministry that awarded the contract, have been issued, should have given that guideline.
All right then. Well, let me move this conversation to another that is actually very interesting as far as I'm concerned, because we're talking macro and microeconomy. The NAFDAC have denied every kind of directive from the federal government on the stoppage of the sachet alcohol ban. One that, again, the association of the manufacturers of these products clearly are saying, look, you have a directive from the federal government, stay with that directive. Why fight these directives? But the question now is sachet alcohol ban a public health policy, or, according to some quarters, a strategy to just clamp down on local distillery companies?
That is not true. You see, this debate is anchored on life preservation and return on investment. And if you fail in a particular business, you can still thrive in some other business.
Okay.
But if you die in the process of one person doing business, that life cannot be revamped. So in this case, I would rather go with the federal government and NAFDAC. The point is, because of the low level of pricing, illicit consumption of alcohol has been so pervasive. In fact, it's more like a status symbol now on the streets. You see youngsters as young as 9, 10 holding a sachet of one alcoholic drink or the other. So the unbridled access to this has done a lot of damage. And this sachet alcohol is not as pure in terms of blending as the ones you see in supermarkets
now,
in bottles.
Mr. Fanimo, why not, on the part of the producers now, why not the federal government? Even though they also claim, I'm talking about the producers now, they also claim that the federal government has told NAFDAC to halt on every level of ban and sealing of their company.
That has been denied.
Why not carefully look at these products and give a directive on how it should be produced? Because we still have the ones that are coming outside the shores of Nigeria storm into Nigeria, and the same Nigerians consume them.
You see, let me tell you, you must be buoyant enough for you to go and buy a bottle of whiskey, a bottle of brandy, a bottle of rum, a bottle of vodka. But if you accost an Agberu and you say, bros, how far? And you give him 100 naira, it's enough to buy this sachet alcohol. And a multiple of that in a day. Some of this alcohol are ethanol based. And you know what ethanol does to the system. And so you now have bloated kidneys, malfunctioning kidneys.
We're still talking about the production, Mr. Fanimo.
You see, the point is, if you limit it to bottles,
yes,
the level of exposure to consumption will be reduced. For instance, if I take whiskey, for instance, if I had to go for whiskey, I have a way of buying. You understand? And I know my limits because I can measure it through the thoughts I take. But somebody who just picks along the street, picks 2 sachets, gulp it down, the next street, he sees somebody that gives him another money, he takes 2. How does he measure? And ethanol for that matter.
Oh, well, some would want to still bet to differ, because if the sachet alcohol is banned for health reasons, why are the elite brands in bottle and can still taking it? Because you just mentioned you would have a limit at which you take it.
Yeah.
And the man on the streets might not have the limit.
Yes.
That's also about education. Isn't that something the federal government and
But that will not solve the problem. The best bet is to save lives. Let's keep these people off these illicit drugs.
All right, let me go to Mr. Ismail. Let me have your take, because we're out of time basically. Let me have your take on the ban of sachet alcohol and the fact that NAFDAC is still sealing some of these factories as against the help to increase macro and micro economy in the country. What's your take?
Yeah, your studio guest actually asked me a question earlier, and I'll quickly respond. That when last did I visit my state? I'm currently in my state. I'm always in my state because I'm a politician in my state. So I know everything very well about Sheyi Makinde, and anything I say about him is from a place of facts. So to the sachet economy, like, I don't know what actually brought out these debates like this, because for the facts are there that all these excuses about banning this sachet alcohol, they are not factual. I don't know how people, just like your studio guest, is saying that he always buy whiskey, and that's in bottles. So you don't consume the sachet alcohol, but you think that people who consume it should be banned. So it is more about elitism for people who argue against for the ban. Because
you're not talking to the part of the production.
Wait, I'm going there.
Go
because
ahead.
if you're saying that people who buy sachet alcohol of 200 naira, they abuse it, and this sachet is just 50 ml, But you who is buying the bottle, 500 ml, 1000 ml, you are not the one abusing it. So they should ban the small production, but they should leave the large production. So you who have the money to buy in large quantity to go on, but people who are consuming in bits,
on his
they should ban
defense.
them. So the argument is actually contradictory.
Because
so
he did not say what you said, because you just assume you're the one saying it now. He never said that. He only spoke about the production, which again, even NAFDAC is clearly talking
reality. But that's the reality. That's the reality. Because
the reality of the production is what we're talking about.
People who consume this sachet, they are people who consume in bits, 50 ml. So if you are banning this bit, but you are leaving the larger bit, so what are you even saying?
Mr. Ismail, can I ask you a question?
Ban because of the
Mr.
abuse of this product.
Can I ask you a question? Have you taken your time to equate the production of the sachet alcohol as against a bottled whiskey? Have you taken your time to do that at all?
For a bottle of whiskey, no. If you are doing that, you also confirm the fact that for a bottle of whiskey, how many sachets will you
I'm talking about the production. I'm talking about the production.
What is the quality of
the
production?
Quality exactly. in that same product is what I'm asking. Have you taken your time to check it?
It's the same quality. It's the same quality.
Okay. It simply means you've not taken your time to check the quality of that product.
Okay. Have you drink the two?
I'm just telling you what it is.
And your guest in the video, have you taken the sachet to compare? How would you know whether the quality is different? How did you know? Have you taken the sachet one before?
We're not even arguing this. I'm only telling you that we should do comparative analysis of these
people
two products.
Who have done it, they've issued that.
And that is what NAFDAC is doing. You think NAFDAC hasn't done that?
Manufacturing Association of Nigeria.
You think NAFDAC hasn't done that?
They've come out on air to say that it is the same quantity.
Ipman is talking on the part of production.
Rather. They've said that. They've said that. Man has said that.
It's unfortunate that we cannot.
All right then. Well, maybe we would find a time to bring producers of these products, and maybe we'll have a way of putting an end to this argument, because I would bet to differ that NAFDAC have not done her due diligence to the point of saying that the products are not the same. That is my position in all of this. But Mr. Fanimo, in less than 30 seconds, billions in tax revenue will be lost should these be totally banned.
That's why I said at the intro to this that it's a question of money versus life. Are we going to take side with money and allow lives to be wasted?
Big question.
The point is, let me quickly say this. To brew the one in the bottle and blend it, the minimum years that is taken for you to begin to bottle in some whiskey is about 12 years. But these are ones that we just mix up in the factory and begin to put in sachet and roll out.
All right, then, because we
want to make profit.
Because of our time, really, this is where we have to draw anchor on the analysis segment. I want to say a big thank you to you, Mr. Ismail Oladare, for being a part of the conversation today. Thank you so very much for your time. And also, Mr. Daily Fanimo, seasoned reporter.
It's always my pleasure.
Thank you so very much for being here. We'll take a very short break right now. When we return, INEC Chairman Josh Amobiton assures Nigerians free, fair, credible election in the Abuja Municipal Council election. Please stay with us after this break. Glad to have you back. It is still the Media News right here on Voice of the People Television. Now, there are reports that says INEC Chairman Professor Josh Amopitan has assured Nigerians of free, fair and transparent exercise in the forthcoming FCT Councils and 2027 general elections, saying the Commission won't tolerate misconduct. He spoke at the meeting with the National Peace Committee in Abuja. Our correspondent in the capital, Jimo Ogirima, has more in this report.
Mopitan declared that his mission was clear: to deliver free, fair and credible elections while deepening democratic values across the nation. He added that upcoming FCT local government election is not just another electoral exercise. It represents a pivot opportunity for them to demonstrate their commitment to free, fair and credible elections. Mopitan said with the cooperation of stakeholders, the Commission will set the bar high and ensure that elections in Nigeria are credible, and assured Peace Committee to secure the vote, especially the hotspot area in the FCT.
Just last week, we had engagement with the various stakeholders preparatory to not just to the FCT area council election, but also the various elections ahead of us this year. And of course, as far as the general election is concerned in 2027, we regard 2026 as our preparatory year for the 2027 general election. And we were pleased to emphasize the partnership INEC has been enjoying with the National Peace Committee, most especially in our collective efforts towards ensuring a peaceful electoral process in Nigeria, most especially the area council election that will be coming up next week. I have noted the objectives of the National Peace Committee, which is to promote peaceful election and also to mitigate electoral conflicts and safeguard our democratic processes. I listened very carefully to the analysis of the security landscape in the Federal Capital Territory. And I can see that AMAC is an area that will require special scrutiny and attention, as well as Gwagwalada, Kuje, and Buhari. We've noted some of the points you made, most especially in relation to Gwagwalada and Kuje, which we regarded as the elephant in the town. However, with proactive and strategic.
Thank you so very much for that report. Moving on to some business stories. Nigeria's crude oil production rose to 1.459 million barrels per day in January 2026, maintaining its position as Africa's largest producer, despite remaining below its OPEC quota. The figures were released in OPEC's latest monthly oil market report, showing modest month-on-month growth. While the increase signals a gradual recovery in output, Nigeria has now recorded 630 months below its assigned production ceiling, underscoring ongoing structural and operational challenges in the oil sector. And in sports, the Confederation of African Football CAF has dispatched a team of technical experts to the three countries set to host the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. The inspection tour, which began this week and runs until February the 17th, will access pitch standards as well as safety, security and infrastructure readiness at designated match and training venues. CAF says the exercise is part of the efforts to raise standards on and off the pitch and further enhance AFCON's global reputation. The tour begins in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, with visit to Arusha and Zanzibar before moving to Nairobi, Kenya. In Uganda, inspection will cover Entebbe and Kampala, including the Mandela National Stadium and selected training sites. And from sports, we'll move on to entertainment, where the National Film and Video Censors Board says it classified 102 films for distribution and exhibition in January. In a statement in Lagos, the NFVCB Director of Corporate Affairs, Ogbonna Ohiomere, described the figure as a sharp increase from December 2025, when 39 films were approved, a rise of over 160%. Of the total of 86 were English language production, while 8 were in Igbo, 3 in Yoruba, 3 in Hausa, and 2 in Hindi. Omeri said the figures reflects the dominance of English language films in the Nigerian market, alongside contribution from indigenous languages and foreign content. He added that many of the films fell within the 15 and 18 age categories, underscoring the board's commitment to protecting young audiences from harmful materials. And with that, we've come to the end of the midday news right here on Voice of the People Television. Do want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we're at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Thank you so very much for being a part of these broadcasts. I am David Edwin. Do have a good afternoon.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People Television, where your health has a voice.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations, but who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
I'm Sarah Nystrom from Sweden, aka Chief Omobowale Communication Queen. Keep watching VOP TV.
I am Samantha Jacobs, representing the States. Miami's in the house, and I want to make a shout out to VOP TV. I'm a humanitarian, and I'm also a rep in the film industry and the art industry. I help dreams come true, and I help you keep on that path. Shout out to VOP TV because you're helping people stay on their path too. Cheers.
All right, my name is John Odibo. Keep watching Voice of the People because it's a fantastic station to be with all the time. Thank you very much.
My name is Pastor Elvis Ciro, the convener of the Voice Achievers Award, and keep watching VOP. Yes, that is the channel for all the people. No color, no race. Thank you so much.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, this is Abbas Sunkan from the Netherlands. I am a designer and I'm here in Eco Hotel and Suits. Keep watching VOP, the voice of the people. Don't touch that dial.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Spotlight on VOP TV, the place where stories come alive and voices matter. This is the show where we shine the light on creativity, style, culture, music, and purpose-driven people who are shaping the world around us. And yes, it's a new day to stay inspired and grounded. And I'm sure you've not forgotten that I'm your special baby girl, Precious Agamanu, aka Call Me Prezi. So yes, my people, get ready, everyone, because we are about to write together true stories that inspire, music that moves, and people who make a difference. And, you know, before we go into all our stories we have today, we have a guest joining us. And yes, joining us today is someone that has been into the music scene, gospel minister, a man of God, and somebody has been, been a worship leader in the gospel scene. And he serves as the head of Department of Music at RCCG Fountain of Life Sanctuary. And he is deeply committed to spirit-led worship that reflects intimacy, reverence, and surrender to God. And yes, he is no other person than Toby. Ooh, welcome to the show.
Hello.
How do you feel?
Very good. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Such a big pleasure.
Wow. See, when somebody has tease and composure, some men of God, they talk with. Anyway, I understand that you get what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah, I do.
So tell me, how has your week been for you?
Great start for the week so far. It's been quite a few things with business, all right, but it's been good so far. So good.
When I hear the sound of business, I feel so glad because, that's when money...
Well, yes.
I don't want to say it, but it's this truth. So no parties, church.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, because of the regular nature of my responsibilities at church, I have like service on Sundays, and maybe like Bible studies on Tuesdays, which I was yesterday, right? And then it's been like that for the week so far.
That's beautiful. Yeah. All right, let's go into music. And yes, a lot of people are watching right now, and some people would say, "Oh, who is Pastor Toby?" So Please tell us, who is Toby?
I know I get people call me pastor a lot of times.
Yes, I know.
But I'm not.
Because I wanted to bring that to yes, I know.
So I prefer to be called Tobi Olawale or brother Tobi Olawale.
Brother.
Makes it easy.
Easy, right?
Yeah. So music has been a part of my journey for the longest. I wouldn't say since I was in the womb, like people would say.
Yeah.
Right. I think I grew up into that knowing, into that consciousness of having such giftings, to be able to sing, play musical instruments. It's been like that for the past 30 years plus.
30 years, and that's a long time. Yeah. So at what point did you notice that, I think I'm called into being a music minister?
Okay, about the calling was roughly 12 years ago.
Oh,
right.
okay.
I had to go through a period of waiting, period of preparations. My first release was in 2019, and then the second one is just now, right? But the calling was in 2012, about 12 years ago, right? And then, but about the knowing as to whether I was going to do music was when I was quite younger, as a young child, about 7, 8 years old.
So why did it take so long? Because I heard you say 19 years. 2019, you had your first album. So why did it take so much, like such a long time for you to?
So we don't release music because we write, or because we have, by the grace of God, I'm gifted with, a lot of songs. I can write songs really well. But we do this by instructions, all right? We do this because God says, go ahead and release the songs.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the song we just released, Bless the Lord, was written over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't because, in fact, we've done a couple of recordings for that song in the past.
Yeah.
But I realized that when it didn't meet the level of excellence that we needed it to carry, that's 1, and 2, because God had not said, go ahead and release the song. So we had to go through a process of, redesigning the entire song, recording the song live, which is what is now released. There,
Wow, that's beautiful. So I know you as a worship leader, and you have to change the atmosphere for that kind of thing. So tell us, what actually, you often emphasize that worship is a lifestyle, not just music. Can you expand on that, basically?
Okay, so when we say worship is a lifestyle, God seeks worshipers that seeks to worship Him in spirit and in truth. What that means is God requires a life that is fully dedicated to Him. One of my favorite scriptures is Romans 12:1 that says, "Brethren, I beseech you, all right, that you present yourselves as your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and acceptable unto God." So it's not about the singing. You can sing all you want. You can write best songs. You can write the most melodious songs. But the life is what is determined, or what is categorized, or what is expected of God, of you as a person from God, to be the worship. So if you call yourself a worshiper and what you're doing in private, all right, does not conform, to what you do in public. For example, you find people who, because they are not seen, let me put it like this. You know how we come on stage, raise our hands, sing, and do all of those things. It does not really say much about who you are as a worshiper. It is when your private life is in direct agreement to your public life. That's what we call being a worshiper. So I can stand on the altar and sing, and my life is not reflective of that. And God rejects my sacrifice. In fact, I usually say sometimes that I wish that the settings of church can be changed. How you stand and then you face the audience. I wish that worshippers like myself can just back the audience and face the wall if possible, so that our attention is on who really matters.
Wow. So I would still love to go back to this question about worship, but right now I would like to ask this question. How has your journey been in music ministry?
So my journey has been quite an interesting one. Like I said, started from a very young age, started to play drums, then from there grew into playing the piano. In fact, my late dad laid my hands on, took my first chords on the keyboard. That was 2002. So started playing. Before I knew it, he died in 2003. Left Abeokuta, where I was at the time, went to Ibadan. Then while in Ibadan, right, I started to train myself, develop my music capabilities. If I was so funny that my lunch money, I would buy batteries, because then light was a problem. I would buy batteries with my lunch money, and then put in the keyboard, sit on the altar, and just keep learning. So as far back as those periods, 2003, 2004, 2005, I had started to write some songs, and because I was inspired by people like Ron Kinolly of blessed memory, who just died, and people like Don Mon, you know, I started to write songs at those times, but it didn't make sense to me because I just thought I was just writing it for fun. I was singing to my local church, all right. Then from there, went to school, became a music director of my fellowship at the time. Started to lead worship in the fellowship, and I started to hear God say something about there's much more with this thing we're doing. And I remember the first ministration I had back in school at the time. How, you know, people were just, you know, like stuck on what was this guy singing? Because I love to play the keys and then sing at the time. And people were like, this is so quite different. I didn't see what or the reason why they were, you know, why they were making those remarks.
Those remarks, yes.
But along the line, I started to pray, and then we birthed the ministry called Harvest of Worshippers, which now further gave meaning to the music ministry so far. And like I said, in 2019, we released our first single called Honor. And then at the waiting period, because like I said, excellence is very key in this thing.
Course.
I mean, you don't just release anything, because God as a worshipper is a servant of excellence in our lives personally, private life, also in the works of our hands. So if I'm going to release anything out there, it has to be excellent. So we had a period of practice, you know, preparation with my team. And then we had a recording in August last year, out of which came the first release.
Wow, interesting. So in all your songs, because I've listened to the first one, I'm like, okay, this is a really good lyrics, and you wrote the songs, right? So what really inspires you to write?
You know, my pastor asked me this question about 2 weeks ago, and talk about inspiration. Songs for me, almost all the songs I've written or have, you know, in the works were received, and I'm not saying it to sound spiritual or sound deep. They actually received by measure of my personal prayer time, personal worship time. Bless the Lord, for example, happened during one of our rehearsals. You know, we had finished rehearsals. We were about to round up. We were even praying and just worshiping to round up. And the first line, that line came, the chorus line. Oh, bless the Lord, oh, bless. And I just kept singing it. And then my team picked it up. And we started to sing. And this was in 2017, by the way. You know, we started to, you know, sing the song. And then before I knew it, started to piece together, and then the lyrics came. God led me to, you know, the book of Psalms. I started to, you know, piece the songs together, and that's how it came. So,
wow, interesting. And yes, I'd love to ask this question too. As a worship leader, what are the challenges you've faced so far?
Challenges faced. I think because of the nature of our work. All right. The nature of our work. It is one spiritual, and because you are leading people, and like you said, worship leader, it is more about the distraction. You know, that's the biggest challenge for me. One, I'll put it in two lights. The first is the musical distraction that comes with, you know, for example, not having the right people, you know, support you in terms of like, you know, delivering worship, because the goal is to lead people into worship and not necessarily just sing at them, right? You lead them into the presence of God with songs, all right? And whilst doing that, there's also the distraction of people, because it's very easy for a worship leader to become distracted and now focus on what is mundane, you know, in terms of the people that you're leading in worship. Our focus is not on them. So the biggest challenge for me, and that is where I keep my focus on most times, is maintaining my focus on who needs to be worshipped, all right? So that I don't become one that seeks to please the people and not seek. And that's why sometimes, you know, I find, you know, some places we go to and they'll tell you things like, oh, that can you not sing these songs? Can you? No, it's not about the songs that you want to hear. It's about the song that God wants to hear. So that's one of the biggest challenge that I've faced personally on the spiritual side. On the physical side, or let me not say physical, on the on the material side, it would be actually the project side of things. Like, you know, because this thing requires excellence. All right. Getting the right people. It took me testing out 3 different producers to work on this project. In fact, some of the songs you hear on this last recording, we have recorded them with some producers before, and we said, we're not going to release this. It does not carry the excellence that you need. So sometimes you need to even pray and say, you know, and tell God to lead you to the people that can interpret the sound as you have, you know, heard and imagined it. So those are the 2 biggest challenges that I faced. You know.
So you know, when you were saying, talking about the challenges, I remembered something that happened where this guy, what's his name, this gospel minister, Tim Godfrey.
Okay.
He talked about how he comes to the churches and he doesn't like coming to Nigeria. He doesn't just love coming to Nigeria to, minister or anything. But the reasons are because the honorarium that is always, the honorarium that is always given to him is always, chicken, I don't know, like yams and all those kind of stuff. I don't know, like, is this how is it how people visualize, like,
music ministers?
Yes, music ministers.
So this is where I say it. I know this is, I hope this is not a setup, but, but first of all, a minister is worthy of his reward. Every laborer is worthy of that reward.
Yeah.
If God leads you somewhere to go minister and they bless you, why not take it, right? I mean, it's okay, right? If I bless you with spiritually, it's okay for you to also bless me in material things, right? So, but I think that people do not understand the process. I was talking to my big sisters in the UK yesterday, and we're talking about how people don't understand the process that music actually, what it entails. One, rehearsals, countless rehearsals, recording. After recording, that's not the end. You still have to go through post-production process for the audio, then go through a post-process for the video, now bring it together. Now start planning your release, now start planning. I mean, it's a lot of work. But because it's a ministry, because he who has called us, all right, has not called us to a venture, a profit-making venture. He has called us to a venture that, that is bigger than that, which is catching souls, all right, winning souls. He said to Peter that I'll make you fishers of men. So for me, I feel like the paramount thing for us, all right, is to focus on the assignment. Every other thing would come. So I don't really like to talk about the money part because personally, I mean, and this is not because our Egbons, when I say Egbons, I mean Pastor Nas, I've said things like, oh, they don't charge. No. It's not because of that. It's also a personal conviction. Like, look, I feel like it also reduces the efficacy of, let me not say that. Let's leave that. It's a personal conviction.
Okay.
I will not say that. But the reality is, I mean, when you go to a place and they offer you, I mean, do well and take it. But that should not be, because once your focus is on what is to be received, the efficacy of the ministry is reduced. It's reduced, right?
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
And so I'd love to ask this question too. What really inspired the vision behind Harvest of Worshippers?
All right. Thank you. As the name implies, the Bible, talks about how the field is white.
Yes.
The laborers are few. Right. It says, pray to the Lord of the harvest to send laborers. It was at the first edition of Harvest of Worshippers that God made it very clear to me about how He wanted us to, set a platform. Because the end time, of course, we all know that by the end of the ages, right? And what that tells me is some of us need to do the work of gathering the harvest. Jesus, God is a businessman, quote unquote. He does not make any investment that does not yield fruitful results, right? Jesus was his first investment. He invested Jesus, and he is to harvest, souls that would come reign with him, all right, in the kingdom of God. So I feel that our assignment, all right, is to use our platform, use the music as a platform to gather the harvest, so that when Jesus comes, he meets a ready bride that he can present to his Father. So it's not just about worship, singing. There's an end game to it. It's about souls, all right. And in the coming months, we're going to be doing some outreaches in some schools, and we're targeting young people. And the biggest part of it for me is that I want to see a generation that not only see worship as an escape route into, just forget my worries and, use God to, use worship to say, God, answer my prayers, but worship to transform their lives. There are so many broken people out there, people that need, healing of all sorts, even without even the spiritual side of things. Music is a powerful tool. Think Michael Jackson, for example.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen videos of growing up, I used to like him, all right? Growing up, I used to like him.
Yes.
You see him singing and people falling down. Was that the anointing? Definitely not, all right? But it's some type of anointing, not good. But now, for those of us that have the Holy Spirit, when you minister in that lives should be changed. I shouldn't sing, over people and, immorality is multiplied. You see, you go to church, for example, people sing and then you are hearing things in that same church. Like, okay, what is now wrong? So if I'm singing, if I'm ministering to God's people, there should be a change. The end goal is transformation. So, and that's what guarantees the harvest.
Okay. So I would love to ask, because you mentioned you guys need to reach out to young ones. Is it the project you're working on, or this is the only project you guys?
You mean the music project?
Yes.
Yes, we've recorded 5 songs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in August last year.
Wow.
And the next one will be released by the end of April.
Okay.
All right, and we're releasing like that
More
still.
songs.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then another recording.
So
happens soon.
in all the songs you've actually written and produced, what would you say, like, which one? I know definitely you've put all the energy, everything into the songs, but what particular song that you would say would keep you so emotional that you would always want to, maybe you're invited somewhere to come minister, and that particular song is always ringing on your head?
So now there was this particular song, Holy Spirit. It's about 21 minutes long.
Oh,
21
wow.
minutes long.
Wow.
That song was also written in 2014.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why it's not emotional. It just triggers something in me.
Yes.
And the reason why it triggers something is because if you listen to that song, it says, we need a touch, Holy Spirit. We need your anointing to pour like the rain. Fill us with your grace and your truth. Now it says, fresh anointing, pour. We are waiting for the rain. You know, Bible says in the last days, right? He will release the Spirit on all men.
Of course.
And it's my desire to see a generation burning for God, a generation that is sold out to God, a generation. So when I listen to that song again, it just keeps telling me that no, the prophecy is here to be fulfilled. Is here to be fulfilled. It means that, there is no way, I would be here, and I will not contribute my quota to ensuring that, the will of God is done.
It's done.
All right. So, that song is not, I won't say it's emotional. It just triggers. Fire me, and I say, no, the assignment must be complete.
I would love you to do the song for us, but before that,
today,
would like to hear at least a little bit of it. But before that, I'd love to ask these questions. You said you were also inspired by ministers like Ron Kennedy and late Ron Kennedy, who just passed away. Yes, and Nathan Abasi, the rest of them. So why would you choose this set of people? Yes.
Okay, just like Elisha had his clan through Elijah.
Yes.
There's a way you can know your clan in the spirit. I think I've not met them one-on-one to say I've met these people, right? But in many encounters, right, I've met them. Through visions, I've met them, So I know my clan. And the reason why I would probably choose them is because not even about the style of music. When you look at the authenticity of the ministry, all right, you see that there's substance here. It's not just clanging cymbals. It's not empty barrels, right? There is power that follows the ministry. There is results that follows the ministry. So it's not really about the songs for them. You see the life that they live. So I say they inspire me, because it's like how, if the Holy Spirit is here, everybody will catch it, So
so definitely in all of them, who would you say you would love to share the stage with? Maybe future purpose?
Anyone the Holy Spirit brings. I don't want to be killed on anybody. No.
All right. Okay. And yes, we still have Toby with us. And I'm sure you're enjoying yourself, because I am too. So yes, we'll take a short break. And when we come back, we'll still have Toby with us. Please don't go anywhere. Stay put. All right.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs the voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Family, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti, and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you
ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV, now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
And yes, welcome back to the show Spotlight. And yes, it's happening here on VOP TV. And I'm sure you've not forgotten that I'm your special baby girl, Precious Agamanu, aka Call Me Prezi. And guess what? We still have Toby here with us because I always mix that a lot of times. And yes, we've been talking about a lot of things. And yes, Toby. So I'd love to ask this question.
Okay.
How do you really prepare? Because I've seen your videos, how you worship, how you change the atmosphere, how God helps you change the atmosphere and stuff like that. So how do you prepare spiritually before leading worships?
So because it's a lifestyle, it makes it easy, right? I'm not of the school of thought that preparation has to be, we're going to sing tomorrow, so we start fasting from yesterday. It's just, so it's a thing that I do, I have my personal time of prayer and worship. It's not much study. And without the study of the word, your worship is even inefficient, right? So all of these things are tied into each other. You must be a student of the Bible first. So, with that comes even when God wants to speak to his people through your songs, all right, it comes from that overflow of what you've studied, while you're studying your Bible, while you're praying. So in terms of preparation, it's not like I go somewhere and start saying, I'm going to the mountain and pray. No. It comes from just the overflow.
All right. So in all your performances, all the worship meetings you've gone to, which one would you say that the experience you had was really?
Was really good. I would worship meetings. I would think it's more of the enclosed ones. Honestly, the ones that we face large crowds. That we face the church. Sometimes it's like I said from the overflow. All right. But the ones where it's felt more intimate. Honestly, it's a personal experience, right? Yes. It's more of the enclosed ones with my friends. So we had one with my friend Oluwayemi. She had a worship meeting few months back with friends in a small space, and I can tell you that at least in the last 1 year, that was very remarkable. That's one remarkable experience for me. So I enjoy enclosed meetings.
Wow. Okay, this is really interesting. I mean, I've heard so much about, songwriting, how people put in so much work, get inspirations from the Holy Spirit. And has there been any position, or maybe you've gotten a song, but you didn't really put that into work?
Into work, yes.
So why?
Yes. And well, like I said.
And how did it come out? Because how did you feel at that moment?
So the thing is, when you write songs like I said earlier, right, we work on instructions, as a matter of fact, this song we wanted to release is not the song we released. I wanted to release another song before so it was just by instructions I said, okay, release this song at this time, right? So, I feel like as we move closer to God, you understand how God works. Because many times, even if the song has just two listeners or two streams or whatever it is, I'm sure that with God's agenda, following his instructions, it has met the purpose for which it was designed. So we're not all about, the song must come out by fire by force. It has to be based off instructions. So there are times, there's a song, in fact, like there was this song that I wrote, and we recorded the song in the studio. It's like a story. It was a story of a man, who was, lost, and then from there, lost his kingdom. And now the chorus was, behold, I stand knocking at the door. Let me in. I'll steal the storm. All right. And I wrote that song. We recorded the song and wanted to release it. And then somehow we lost the source file. We had the finished product. We wanted to make changes.
That's heartbreaking,
I'm telling you, at some point, and that's how God is. Sometimes God has to break your heart to make you fall in line.
That's
Because
true.
because sometimes you want to force your way through.
Yes, through something.
Through something, and then
Yes.
it says you know the word that it breaks you out sometimes. you know.
Yeah.
So it wasn't heartbreaking for me, but I just knew it wasn't time to release the song. Until now, we've not recorded it. Until I hear, go ahead and do it, I won't do it.
Wow. Okay. I heard when the first time when we spoke, when we started, I heard you say talking about business.
Yeah.
So I would like to ask this question: if Toby wasn't into the worship leading, or maybe in a church trying to minister or anything, what would Toby be doing?
Okay, so currently I am the Chief Operating Officer for Cracks Media, owners of Cracks TV studios.
Yeah.
So I run marketing communications too.
Nice.
So talk about media communications.
Yes.
I mean, that's something I enjoy doing.
Yes.
And it also ties into it because when I talk about this harvest of worshippers,
Yeah.
one of our dreams is to one day see Jesus, that name Jesus, on all the billboards in Lagos, in Nigeria,
Yeah.
and maybe across the world. As God will it. So
Wow.
so that's the plan.
Right.
So we work in that sphere of industry.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So right now, a lot of people are watching, and we have lots of young ones, watching, and in their head, like, oh, I want to really go into, music ministry. So what do you feel they should learn? What do you feel they should know about music and about ministry on its own?
What you should know about music ministry is, first of all, if it's a thing for you to just do as a career, all well and good. But as a ministry, you can't do it by mere skill or by mere abilities, right?
Yes.
There has to be a backing, because ministry means that something must be impacted, something must change.
Yes.
There must be transformation, right? So that's ministry, So if you're going to do it, I would advise that you find God. Find God. Find your voice with God. First, understanding what He wants to do with the ministry before you venture out. Because if you don't have that word, if you don't have that go ahead, it might be difficult, to be honest. For some of us, we tried to come out at some point, but we knew that we needed to go back. So we had to go back into seasons of preparation, study, prepare, and we are starting out.
All right. Yeah. So we'd love to hear that song that you wanted to do for us. Oh.
I would just to bless the Lord because it's not really yet.
So let's just hear a little bit of it at least.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, bless the Lord. Oh, bless the Lord. All ye earth, proclaim His name. Oh, bless the Lord. Oh, bless the Lord. All ye earth, proclaim His name.
Woo! Thank you so much. This is lovely. And yes, and I'm sure you enjoyed yourself because I did too. Thank you so much, Toby, for sharing your light here with us on the Spotlight Show. And yes, thank you. And please don't go anywhere. We'll take a short break. And when we come back, we'll still have juicy gist to talk about with Prezi. Please don't go anywhere. Stay put.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
My name is Tao Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arararara, my name is Made Kuti and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Hello there, my name is Damilola Ogunsi, also known as the Goldfish.
Hi, my name is Chiki Bright Emmanuel. I'm an actor and a filmmaker.
Hello peeps, my name is Yomi E. Adejimo.
Hi everyone, I'm Paul Utomi.
Hi everyone, my name is Stacey Benjamin and this is Voice of the People TV.
I need you to keep it locked to VOP TV. See, are you looking for good entertainment? You want to get good movies, good music, politics, talk shows, sports and entertainment. You really want a channel that gives you everything you need without you having to run around. VOP is where you are. That's Voice of the People.
If you're not listening to this, you're not one of us. And you deserve to be killed. Scrap charge. Don't be killed, but watch it. Or I'll find you. And I want you.
And you are locked on VOP TV. Don't go nowhere. This is where the juice is. This is where all you need for entertainment entertainment, politics, movies, and whatnot.
And keep watching VOP TV. So keep it locked because I'm locked already, man, and it's money back guarantee. So you're gonna have a good time because I do.
And please keep watching VOP TV.
I want something actually. I beg you, subscribe, watch it. If not, whatever you see.
You better not touch that die because VOP is the plot.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before. To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpillon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People Television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not going to the talk, please the sport.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
My name is Tao Familani, and here is to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People Television, where your health has a voice.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Hello there, my name is Damilola Ogunsi, also known as the Goldfish.
Hi, my name is Chiki Bright Emmanuel. I'm an actor and a filmmaker.
Hello peeps, my name is Yomi E. Adejimo.
Hi everyone, I'm Paul Utomi.
Hi everyone, my name is Stacey Benjamin, and this is Voice of the People TV.
I need you to keep it locked to VOP TV. See, are you looking for good entertainment? You want to get good movies, good music, politics, talk shows, sports and entertainment. You really want a channel that gives you everything you need without you having to run around. VOP is where you are. That's Voice of the People.
If you're not listening to this, you're not one of us, and you deserve to be killed. Scrap chat. Don't be killed, but watch it, or I'll find you, and I want you.
And you are locked on VOP TV. Don't go nowhere. This is where the juice is. This is where all you need for entertainment, politics, movies, and whatnot.
And keep watching VOP TV.
So keep it locked, because I'm locked already, man, and it's money back guarantee. So you're gonna have a good time, because I do.
And please keep watching VOP TV.
I won't want to actually, I beg you, subscribe, watch it. If not, whatever you see.
You better not touch that die, because VOP is the plot.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpayon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People Television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not going to talk, please discuss.
And it's Hakim Ziyech who puts the
Obudu Mountain Resort, formerly known as the Obudu Cattle Ranch, is a ranch and resort on the Obudu Plateau in Cross River State, Nigeria. It was developed in 1951 by M. Macaulay. Macaulay is Scottish, who first explored the mountain ranges. In 1949, he camped on the mountaintop of the Oshia Ridge on Sankwala Mountains for a month before returning with Mr. Hugh Jones, a fellow rancher, in 1951, and Dr. Crefeld. Together, they developed the Obudu Cattle Ranch. Since 2005, a cable car climbing 870 meters from the base to the top of the plateau gave visitors a scenic view while bypassing the extremely winding road to the top. The resort is found on the Obudu Plateau, close to the Cameroon border in the northeastern part of Cross River State, approximately 110 kilometers east of the town of Ogoja and 65 kilometers from the town of Obudu in Obanluku local government area of Cross River State. It's about 30 minutes drive from Obudu town and also about 332 kilometers drive from Calabar, the Cross River State capital. Charter air service is available to the Bebi Airport, which lies between the village of Obudu and the resort. However, the airstrip is no longer functioning and the cable car has been grounded for a while now due to lack of maintenance. In 2020, it was reported that the governor of Cross River State, Professor Ben Ayade, pledged to revive the cable car after successfully test running it for the Christmas period. Since then, life has returned to the ranch. The climate of the Obudu Cattle Ranch is semi-temperate mountain climate, which is the general weather condition experienced on the Obudu Plateau. Due to its 1,600 meters elevation, the ranch has in recent times seen an influx of both Nigerian and international tourists because of the development of tourist facilities by Cross River State government, which has turned the ranch into a well-known holiday and tourist resort center in Nigeria. It has a serene climate compared to other regions in Nigeria.
Hello there, my name is Damilola Ogunsi, also known as the Goldfish.
Hi, my name is Chike Bright Emmanuel. I'm an actor and a filmmaker.
Hello peeps, my name is Yomi E. Adejumo.
Hi everyone, I'm Paul Utomi.
Hi everyone, my name is Stacey Benjamin and this is Voice of the People TV.
I need you to keep it locked to VOP TV. See, are you looking for good entertainment? You want to get good movies, good music, politics, talk shows, sports and entertainment. You really want a channel that gives you everything you need without you having to run around. VOP is where you are. That's Voice of the People.
If you're not listening to this, you're not one of us. And you deserve to be killed. Scrap chat. Don't be killed, but watch it. Or I'll find you. And I want you.
And you are locked on VOP TV. Don't go nowhere. This is where the juice is. This is where all you need for entertainment, politics, movies, and whatnot.
And keep watching VOP TV.
So keep it locked because I'm locked already, man, and it's money back guarantee. So you're gonna have a good time because I do.
And please keep watching VOP TV.
I want to actually, I beg you, subscribe, watch it. If not, whatever you see.
You better not touch that die because VOP is the plot.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
When I first heard VOP, I thought they were talking about me because I'm a voiceover personality. But no, this is Voice of the People TV, and you are riveted forever because this is the place to be.
You guys, your boy Chela. Shout out to VOP TV. I love you guys.
Salut tout le monde, Suspect 95. Là, on est sur VOP TV. On passe un bon temps.
J'espère que vous kiffez. On est au Afrima. On est ensemble. VOP TV.
Don't see me like a fool because I don't do giddy giddy giddy. VOP, you don't know Stoneware from Ghana representing live and living color. Yeah, Beam Nation President. Outside with it. Bless up.
Hello, this is Milo from Ivory Coast. Keep watch Voice of the People TV. Regardez la voix du peuple, la télévision de la voix du peuple. Que Dieu vous bénisse. À très bientôt. Love you so much.
Hi guys, what's up? This is Gaze Baba and you're watching VOP TV. Usually you'll be told to not touch the dial, but I tell you to touch the dial and increase the volume. You're like, keep it locked. It's Afro Gospel. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shego Arunze. You're watching VOP. Don't change the dial.
My Joe, fine girl. My Joe, fine babe. Only are you, but on the Fuji Monsoon. Yes, don't touch the dial. This is me, Dr. Adiwala Iba. Keep watching VOP TV.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
In a world where power shapes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
The Ikogosi Warm Springs is a tourist attraction located at Ikogosi, a town in Ekiti State, southwest Nigeria. Flowing abreast the warm spring is another cold spring which meets the warm spring at a confluence, each maintaining its thermal properties. These attributes make the spring a tourist attraction in Nigeria. Research suggested that the warm spring has a temperature of about 70 degrees Celsius at the source and 37 degrees Celsius at the confluence. In 1952, Southern Baptist missionary Reverend John S. McGee from his mission base in the nearby Ekiti town of Igede went to the source of the hot and cold springs about which he had heard from the Ikogosi people. Initially, he was discouraged from doing this, and the reasons given were based on the tradition of the local residents, which was that nobody should ever visit the source of these two streams because of the idea that to do so would be to invite death from the supernatural forces that were responsible for this strange and most unusual feature of nature. In spite of the warnings, Reverend McGee made his way through the forest, up the hill to the source of the two side-by-side springs. According to Reverend McGee's brief written account, he's quoted as saying, "After seeing it, I felt that it could be used for a good purpose. I discussed with the people. I discussed the possible use of it with some of the Mission and Nigerian Baptist Convention friends. With the growing interest of Royal Ambassador work and youth work, we felt that it could best be used by building a youth camp. I took it up with the Ekiti Association and we decided to build a camp for our residential areas and government areas. The land was secured through the convention." End quote. Having had the water from both springs tested to ensure its purity, Reverend McG, with support from the Ekiti Baptist Association of Churches and the Nigerian Baptist Convention, who secured 28 acres of land, which was the original camp, began planning for the building of the camp. By the early to middle 1970s, the Nigerian government took control of the swimming pool and built some guest chalet adjacent to it, with a separate entrance road from that which the McGees had built to the camp entrance. From that time forward, there was also the hope and intention of developing that area for tourist purposes.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Every day, bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV.
Well, hello and welcome to the African News on Voice of the People Television. I am David Edwin. Before we begin the news, we would urge you to kindly visit our website. It's at www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news stories. We begin the African News from the DRC, where the United Nations Organization Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, MONUSCO, will deploy forces in the border city of Uvira in South Kivu province to monitor a ceasefire between the government and the M23 rebels. UN Under-Secretary General for Peace Operations Jean-Pierre Lacroix announced the development after meeting with Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi, focusing on the UN's mission role in operationalizing the ceasefire monitoring and verification mechanism under the Washington Peace Agreement and the Doha process. The deployment is in line with the UN Security Council Resolution 2773 and 2808, which entrusts MONUSCO with a support role in stabilizing areas affected by armed conflict in Congo. MONUSCO's presence aims to support the implementation of the permanent ceasefire, with the mission's role including monitoring and verification. From the DRC to Sudan, where a drone strike on a mosque in Al Rahad city, North Kordofan in Sudan, has killed 2 children and injured 13 others, according to the Sudan Doctors Network. The attack occurred during a Quran lesson at dawn on Wednesday at the Sheikh Ahmed al-Badawi Mosque, where children were reciting the Islamic Holy Book. The paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, that's the RSF, has been blamed for the attack, which is part of a systemic pattern of targeting civilians and religious sites, according to the medical group statement. The Sudan Doctors Network condemned the attack, stating that targeting children inside the mosque is a fully constituted crime that cannot be justified under any pretext and represents a dangerous escalation in the pattern of repeated violations against civilians. From Sudan, we move straight to Libya. Libyan Prime Minister Abdul Hamid Jabbar has met with U.S. African Command AFRICOM Deputy Commander Lieutenant General John W. Bryan to discuss expanding military and security cooperation between the two countries. The talks focused on strengthening bilateral defense ties, advancing training and qualification programs for Libyan forces, and unifying Libyan military institutions. Dubai emphasized the importance of partnership with the U.S. in supporting stability and enhancing the readiness of Libya's regular armed forces. The meeting, attended by U.S. Charge d'Affaires Jeremy Bernard, aimed to enhance coordination in areas including information sharing and institutional capacity building. 30 women entrepreneurs received training in poultry, farming, business management, and marketing as part of the project. And in Saudi Arabia, Saudi's Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan met with Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali in Addis Ababa to discuss strengthening bilateral relations and enhancing cooperation on regional and global issues. The talks were described as productive and focused on bolstering ties, expanding cooperation, and coordinating efforts on shared concerns. The meeting follows a recent visit to Riyadh by Ethiopia's foreign minister. And Ethiopia's foreign minister, Gideon Timotheus, has called for stronger Africa unity to shield the continent from external interference and exploitation. Speaking at the African Union Executive Council in Addis Ababa, Gideon said Africa needs real unity to safeguard its interests in a global environment dominated by politics and security considerations. He also highlighted internal challenges, including unconstitutional changes of government that undermine the AU's foundation and weaken peace and security across the continent. And in Somalia, Somalia has secured a seat on the African Union's Peace and Security Council, that's the AUPSC, for the 2026 to 2028 term. The election took place on February the 11th, 2026, during the 39th AU Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The other countries elected to serve a 2-year term on the council are the DRC, Gabon, Uganda, Morocco, Lesotho, South Africa, Benin Republic, Cote d'Ivoire, and Sierra Leone. Somalia's election is its first time on the continent's premier peace and security organ, granting it direct access to shape decisions on conflict prevention, mediation, and regional stability. Somalia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said in a statement that the election reflects the confidence placed in Somalia by fellow AU member states. The country aims to contribute to strengthening conflict prevention efforts, supporting peace building, reconciliation process, and advancing counter-terrorism operations. Moving on, the Turkish Cooperation and Coordination Agency, that's TICA, has launched a project in Tanzania's Tegeta region to empower women through sustainable poultry farming. The initiative aims to increase women's income opportunities and provide local communities with access to health and healthy and affordable protein. From Tanzania, we'll move straight to Kenya, where Ella MP Winnie Odinga has publicly demonstrated her support for Edwin Sifuna, the former ODM Secretary General, who was removed from office on Wednesday, February the 11th, 2026. Winnie attended a press conference today held by Sifuna, where he addressed his ouster alongside other party leaders, including Siaya Governor James Orengo and Embakasi East MP Babu Owino. Despite not speaking at the event, Winnie's presence was, according to analysts, Winnie's presence at the event reflects a gesture of solidarity with Sifuna. Sifuna's removal was attributed to issues of indiscipline and undermining collective decisions by the party's National Executive Committee, that's the NEC. However, Sifuna maintains that his ouster was unlawful and a result of his refusal to support President William Ruto's re-election bid. Still in Kenya, in another development, a Kenyan court has charged court leader Paul Mackenzie and 7 others with murder, organized criminal activity, radicalization, and facilitating terrorist acts in connection with the death of 52 persons found in shallow graves in southeast Kenya. Mackenzie, leader of the Good News International Church, had previously faced charges related to the deaths of over 400 followers found in Shakahula Forest, where bodies were exhumed in one of Kenya's largest court-related disasters. The charges stem from bodies discovered in Kwabinzaro, a village near Shakahula Forest, with investigations revealing that Mackenzie allegedly continued to direct the court's activities within even while in detention. Prosecutors claim Mackenzie used radical teachings to lure victims to the remote site, where followers were ordered to starve themselves and their children to death in anticipation of the apocalypse. Mackenzie and the other defendants have pleaded not guilty to the charges. The case has sparked debate over the regulation of religious institutions in Kenya, with calls for tighter oversight to prevent similar tragedies. And from Kenya, we move straight to Uganda, where Uganda Medical Association, that's the UMA, has warned of an increasing wave of verbal and physical attacks against health workers, saying the growing hostility is threatening morale within the profession and undermining the country's healthcare system. In a statement, UMA President Professor Frank Asimwe and the association has documented incidents in which patients and their relatives threatened and in some cases physically assaulted medical personnel while on duty. Professor Asimwe condemned the trend and described the behavior as criminal and unacceptable. You're still watching the African News right here on Voice of the People Television. We'll go straight to the analysis segment of the news. And joining us now to make sense of these stories and more is Dr. Joseph Opul. Dr. Joseph is a doctoral fellow at the University of Dar es Salaam, Gulu University. He's also the director of Opul Skilling Foundation, Africa. Dr. Opul, a very good afternoon to you. Well, I understand the doctor is not yet with us, but also joining us virtually is all the way from Kenya is Mr. Nicholas Oyor. Mr. Nicholas is the Secretary General of the Free Kenyan Movement. He's also a human rights activist, a businessman, and a political leader. Mr. Nicholas, a very good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining the conversation this afternoon.
Very good afternoon, David. Thanks for having me.
All right, then. Well, while we wait the joining of Dr. Opul from Uganda, let me start off with you from a perspective of one who has consistently upheld human rights on all fronts. And I'm going to start off with a statement coming from the Uganda Medical Association's president about the hostility coming from both patients and their relative, which again he said has threatened the morale within the profession and of course undermining the country's healthcare system. What do you make of this as well? Because questions have been asked about why these patients and their family relative, who again some say threaten the lives of some health practitioners. What do you make of this as well?
Yeah, it is unfortunate that people have to work so hard to help people to ensure that healthcare is delivered, and then now you get to be attacked by the people who you're actually delivering health to. It is something that is concerning. I think it is time that as Africans we need to start having discussions around understanding that some people, even when they are being paid, they are doing work for you on a basis that is a risky business. You can catch even these diseases sometimes. You can get into problems, and we've seen this especially when COVID was happening across the world. And there are people who contracted because of that. Even AIDS, when AIDS came first. And I think one of the places that AIDS really came big immediately when it came around Africa was Uganda. And you saw what had to happen. Some people contracted it because of helping the people who have those needs. So it is important that families and even citizens understand that rights cut both ways. There are rights that we fight for because we are trying to make sure that the government delivers those rights. But there's also you, who is a citizen, who should also understand that the rights are also applicable to you. You should also allow the workers and health workers to enjoy the opportunity to support and not face consequences that are unnecessary and being really human delivered.
Some have said that these attacks on health practitioners have become consistent and have tagged it as the patients seeing these health workers as the face of a failed healthcare system. Do you share this sentiment? I mean, if the healthcare system has failed or is failing, should the practitioners be the ones to bear the brunt, or should the government and, of course, a representative of the government in that sector meant to bear the brunt? Why attack the workers?
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate to attack the practitioners, because practitioners are just part of the process. There are people who are basically being paid to deliver the services. They are the people who even suffer the consequences of bad health policies and systems, because even their pay and all these problems. In Kenya, we have had a lot of problems with the doctors. They are always on strike every other day. So somebody should understand their plight and their situation. You are all victims. Even those people who work in those sectors are victims. Now, if you see me as a person who is representing the healthcare, and then you use me as call it a human, I don't know what to call it. I don't want to call it human shield, but something like that you use now to maybe bring out your frustrations. It's very unfortunate. Right. These are human beings. They are working for us. We are paying them as citizens, and there should be an understanding that it is government policies that are failing, it is government plans that are failing, it's government activities and ideas that are not working. So the target should actually be government itself and not target those workers who basically, even police, in our situation when we deal with the police, it's because they have this situation to look at a scenario and understand that this is human life, and if they shoot somebody, that person will die, and that will be a problem. And you know that they have ways to look at an issue and know how to deal with it as human beings on the ground. That's why we usually have problems with police. But now, health practitioners, it's a bit different, and I find it really amazing that there are people who have decided to target them.
Unfortunately, really. But before I move up that conversation and, of course, come to the story emanating in your country, Kenya, there is also the conversation about the fact that the Ugandan government consistently spends so much. I mean, the budget for 2026 has a bit more high figures with the military operations. I'm talking security now, as against the healthcare system. What do you make of that, and why do you think it's like that? Because again, there's been this high level of accusation that the military gets more funding than the health workers. What do you make of this on the part of the government of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni?
First of all, it's very unfortunate that leadership in Africa always sees that defense has to be a very big spending. We are taking the colonial mentality. You know, in Kenya, we changed the police and call it police force. The defense, you have called it the defense. Even Uganda is UPDF. Uganda Patriotic Defense Force. It's supposed to defend the country. And every person who is a citizen is a person who is also part of the country. So they are supposed to defend those citizens. Right. I find it really amazing that they can create that problem whereby they seem to use a lot of resources in defense as opposed to other services. And it's really unfortunate. Across Africa, this happens. There's a lot of spending that is done in defense that is very high. And there's a lot of things that they do in defense as opposed. And now the problem comes in here, David. The defense is whereby you look at the colonial administration. They were defending themselves, or rather protecting, or rather blocking themselves from okay, I could quote what they used to call natives. So it was like a force to stop the natives from penetrating. Now, the local leadership comes in. The leadership that we have elected, and does the same thing. So it is really amazing and shocking for me, for as a human rights defender, to wonder why would you do this, and you don't understand that you have to give services to the people, and the people that you're talking about are actually part of what you're supposed to defend. When you talk about defense, it is the people, the country, the policies. Those things, those are the things that you're supposed to, the state, you're supposed to defend this. And by defense, it means you're supposed to protect the human life.
I mean, the primary objective of every government is protecting the lives and properties of her people. And then if the people of Uganda and the government of Uganda is possibly not doing that, then there possibly should be questions being asked. But let me move away from that and come to the story coming and emanating from Kenya, where a Kenyan court has charged a court leader, I'm talking about Paul Mackenzie, and 7 others with murder, organized criminal activity, radicalization, and of course facilitating terrorist acts in connection with the death of 52 persons found in the shallow graves in the southeast of Kenya. Well, you know, Mackenzie is the leader of the Good News International Church that had previously been charged related to the deaths of over 400 followers found in the Shakahola forest. You would recall that story as well. Well, the question I want to find out from you is, some have said that the judicial system in Kenya is a bit porous to allow these level of conversation even get to this level. Now, the person in question is in custody. How is it possible that he can also be in charged of such dastardly act?
Yeah, it's it's unfortunate to find this that happens, but the police stations, or rather the holding facilities in Kenya, are actually very porous, and people who have been in them know that there are people who can actually do things. In Kenya, we have a situation where scammers are actually coming from the cells. They are working in cells. They have phones in there, and they are scamming people from there. So I think it is the same thing. He can control from there and continue doing his things, and continue to further the problem that was there, and yet he is inside the police cell. This is because of corruption. The people who are supposed to be in charge of these prison facilities and holding facilities are probably receiving money or something like that. Or they may even be receiving money from someone else who is not even Mackenzie himself or the people in question here. But this person now helps the pastor or the suspect now to implement these things. It is very unfortunate that we have this kind of systems. Corruption is really a cancer, and that is probably what is happening. How would somebody be in prison and then they're still doing things from prison? Yeah, it is unfortunate. But we've seen it before. Biggest scams in Nairobi in Kenya will be from people who are actually in cells. A cell called committee is very famous for this.
Well, I'd like to stay with you on this story, Mr. Nicholas. Interestingly, some have questioned the reason why this man has not, the government has not acted decisively after 400 deaths. Where, of course, he was charged related to the death of over 400 persons found in the Shakahola forest, where bodies were exhumed in one of Kenya's largest court-related disasters. Questions that are being raised is the fact that, is there the political will to charging this man, or is this some fear of backlash, particularly from religious lobbies in Kenya?
The issue of political will is probably could be there. It's very unfortunate that we are talking about that in this situation. The time and the run up to the elections 2022, there was a lot of religious political unification, and there was a lot of push from a political, religious perspective to support a certain political candidate.
Right.
And these were people who participated in those engagements. So I hope that it is not there, but if it is there, I wouldn't be surprised. But the other issue also that comes up is you wonder, how does it happen that you cannot have a situation where a case that has become as big as this? For me, I would ask myself, if you have a case as big as this, why can't it be basically taken much faster? You give it at least credence to make sure that it actually is concluded as quick as possible. Because, of course, these people still have a right to justice. They still have a right to defend themselves. They have a right to lawyers and what have you and everything. But then there is need to make sure that a case of this nature, as huge as that case is dealt with as quickly as possible and dispensed with, so that justice can be served. I think the things that some of us in our organization, Free Kenya, we are pushing for changes in the constitution, and some of these things are the issues we want to raise. That some of the justice system must find a way of ensuring that you can fast track some cases of this nature, so that they don't become a cancer in the country. Look at the way this is happening. People have suffered. Families have faced situations across the country. So many people have died. You can't even identify everybody. So It is important that we deal with the case and make sure that these people are taken care of, who perpetrated this, so that we can move on with the reconciliation and people to begin to at least have some form of, settling of what has happened.
All right, then. Well, questions again are being raised about the government-formed task force to investigate court issues this particular situation. And I kind of wonder, this over 400 case that Mr. Mackenzie was being charged on was 2023. And then there is a task force formed by the government to investigate the matter. How long does it take to bring to full fruition an investigation of such manner? I mean, 3 years down the line, nothing is being done. The case is still in court, and we're having another situation of 50. What do you make of the justice system plus the task force that was being created by the presidency as well?
Yeah, it is. When you see task forces, sometimes you begin to get worried. Task forces have been used in Kenya before to basically just create a situation where justice does not actually seem to be done, and I hope that that's not the case here. Task forces have a way that they take time to deal with questions. Sometimes you're even rewarding people who you owe some form of debt to, for helping you here and there. So you find people who are appointed there who may not even qualify for the task force, but they are appointed there because somebody felt that they need to be given something. You know, in Kenya they say something, give me something. So they get something to do, and they don't want to finish it quickly. You know, the payment of the task force means that as long as you stay there, you get paid, and you get paid, and you get paid. So for me, it is really one of the things we are saying, that judiciary must be created to be free and independent of any interference, any form of interference, including this kind of thing, so that it is not a matter whereby I decide to do a task force and take it away from the judiciary and then end up taking it through another direction, which it is me who is determining. It's very unfortunate if that is what is happening.
All right, then, let's move from this story to some political stories still in Kenya, where Ella MP Winnie Odinga has publicly demonstrated her support for ousted Edwin Sifuna, the former ODM Secretary General, who was removed from office Wednesday, 11th of February. Well, Winnie, of course, attended a press conference that was held by Sifuna, where, of course, he addressed his ouster, alongside other party leaders. But the question I want to find out from you is the ouster of Mr. Edwin proof that the ODM has abandoned opposition politics to quietly support and align with President William Ruto?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say that Edwin Sifuna is still in office based on a court matter that has just risen a few minutes ago, I think. It was breaking news. They've gone to court, and they've gone to the tribunal, and that has lifted the removal, first of all, so that the discussion is going to go to tribunal. But having said that, it looks like there's two ODMs now. There's a ODM that some of us are saying is a soul of ODM, which is a group of the Babus, the Edwin Sifunas, the James Orengos, now Winnie has joined them. This is the soul, if you look at it. This is the ODM that always feels that it has to talk about the issues of the people. But then there is the ODM that seems to have changed his character, that is coming in and insists that the office of being a political party is about going for power. And now it looks like it's a zero-sum game where you go for power and nothing matters until you get to power. And this is very unfortunate for me as a person who stands on human rights and questions of political rights. I feel that it is not fair where you leave the people behind and you want to run the party as if this party is not a public institution. This party, like ODM, is one of the parties that has spent a lot of public resources. It's a party that we have paid a lot of money to because of the ways that the political parties act works. And ODM cannot consider itself that it can run away from the people and go to run and become what it is. You know, the other thing that also happens, I don't know if the leadership of ODM right now understands that there is something called opposition and being able to push the government to a point that the government has to agree to certain things, do some things right. And even you saying that you have pushed this government to this point, now we can come to the people and say that we can do a better job than them. I don't know if this is now a different kind of situation. But that being the case, I hope that the vacuum that is created by lack of a serious opposition will be filled. And I hope that this group that has come out in this press conference is going to work with other progressives to fill up that gap of the what you call the opposition of this country.
Now, interestingly, as it stands, this particular other group seem to be vocal, just like it's been over time with the ODM. You would recall during the Riley Odinga era in 2007 to 2017, where, of course, the ODM faced similar internal purges when members opposed coalition strategies, which, of course, led to the fallout of with President William Ruto during the 2008 Grand Coalition. Now, also in the 2002-2013 Kibaki era as well, the party expulsion were common, of course, when leaders opposed coalition as well. Now, looking at this level of disagreement with what the people would say is the strongest opposition in Kenya as it stands, is there the possibility that the next election is a one-way ticket for the ruling party?
I don't think so. They can make that assumption, but then once you have a situation where what we are calling the soul of ODM has moved out from ODM, it will mean that this soul of ODM is going to reorganize itself somewhere else. And I think we are looking forward to a rally, and even Free Kenya is going to participate in that rally, by the way. We are also progressive forces. We are working together with them now in Kitengela, where it is going to be about the discussion of how do we create that people that are going to fill up that vacuum that is being left. Because you see, what happens is that you have a political system where you have the ruling party and you have the opposition. And now, in this situation, we have a situation where the mixed up between the ruling party and the opposition has created a lot of vacuum. We don't seem to have a parliament that we can trust, because it's very easy for it to be misused, quote unquote, to pass certain things that maybe the administration wants. There is, for instance, something that is happening in this country that maybe people haven't noticed. The question of the NADCO, there's a NADCO discussion that was done, and it seems to have been jacked by the ruling elite and the ODM of the opposition, the new ODM now, the one that is being led by Oburu Odinga, which seems to be saying that they want to pass certain things. And some of those changes they want to pass include even the term of the president. You see, we have had the Court of Appeal being filled by the president just a few days back. I think almost it hasn't been 2 weeks. And one of the first issues they dealt with was an issue that was very suspect when it came to the table, because it looked like they supported something that was to make the MPs feel that they've been appeased. The entrenchment of the CDF, and saying that CDF is a constituency development fund. This constituency development fund, a lot of members of parliament seem to like to use it in some ways. And now this CDF is a political issue that is in there in parliament. A lot of these MPs feel that it belongs to them. So it was passed by the Court of Appeal that CDF now is appropriately in place, when it had been ruled in the High Court that it is against the doctrine of separation of powers. So you find that that kind of thing tells you something. It is an indicator that the government wants to introduce something in parliament, which is a very big thing, and it may be about that issue, because they want to entrench CDF in the constitution. So really, it's very...
Basically, what do you think would...
By saying that I feel, and a lot of people in Africa feel, that AU does not represent the interests of Africans anymore. It is like AU is doing something totally different, and I hope that that seat in was not some horse trading that happened back. I hope it is not in international community, which is not Africa itself. Because that's what usually happens. You find that somebody outside Africa who feels that the geopolitics of Africa must be within their own purview to dictate or to create 10 things that they need. Push for. I hope that is not the matter that happened. But then I want to say that it is very good that now has begun to move as an African. I only hope the AU will shape up and become an African AU, not an AU that seems to be in another world when Africa is in another world.
Well, again, how can Somalia, that have been totally ravaged by the Al-Shabaab terrorist group, have a seat on Africa's top peace council? Where does that leave that council for a country that has been ravaged?
You may not be the right candidate, but then the other issue is this, that it empowers them to see that they are doing, and people are seeing that they are doing what is right. They are moving to the right direction. I think if a scourge like Al-Shabaab or even terrorism comes to your country, you should not be culled from the rest of the world just because you have that scourge. But then again, the question has to be, what are you doing to deal with the scourge? Are you basically doing the right things to make sure that you are dealing with the question? Or is it a matter of your own country having some issues that are basically building up this kind of terrorism? But then I think that it is not fair for people to say that Somalia, because they have that scourge, they cannot be part of the peace leadership. It's not good to leave people outside when they're also suffering some issues. Maybe they are going to learn something when they are in that seat, and it's going to help them with some of those questions. Yes.
All right then. Well, before I let you go, I'd like to model up these two stories, and maybe I get your reaction in less than 1 minute. The situation coming from the UN clearly is stating that the United Nations Organization Stabilization Mission, that's MONUSCO, has decided to deploy forces to the border city of Uvira in the southern Kivu province of the DRC, of course, to monitor a ceasefire between the government and the M23 rebels. What do you make of that? Plus, in Sudan, a fresh drone attack on a mosque in the Al-Rihad city of North Kordofan has killed 2 children and injuring 13 others. Of course, this is coming from the Sudan's Doctors Network. What do you make of this situation of insecurity surrounding different parts of Africa, from, of course, the DRC to Sudan, where, of course, relative peace is supposed to be taking place?
I think we, as Africans, we seem to have acquired some bad, I don't want to call it, but a character whereby security has become alien to us. It's very unfortunate. Africa before this used to be a very secure place. If we had problems even with our other communities that are not from our own communities, we used to have some peace discussions. Of course, there were raidings that used to happen. We cannot deny that. But they were cultural, and they were way that they used to happen. So now we are having a situation where we don't seem to be able to deal with our security challenges. It's always a problem everywhere. There's always a security issue coming up in Africa all the time. DRC, Somalia, all these places. And I'm hoping that AU especially can come, as we say there. It should come and become an African AU, and to find a way to ensure that these kinds of things can be dealt with from the perspective of Africans, first of all, in a manner that we can ensure that we resolve these matters. I hope that can help us get a way around it.
All right, then. Thank you so very much, Mr. Nicholas Oyo. Mr. Nicholas is the Secretary General of the Free Kenya Movement. He's also a human rights activist in Kenya, a businessman, and a political leader. Once again, thank you so very much for your time, Mr. Nicholas Oyo.
Thank you for having me.
We'll take a very short break right now. When we return, Cyclone Gazani devastates Madagascar and the death toll rises to 31. This and more when we return after this break. Please stay with us. Glad to have you back at the Studio African News right here on Voice of the People Television. Now to more stories. This report says tropical cyclone Gazani has torn through Madagascar, leaving a trail of destruction and claiming at least 31 lives, with 4 others reportedly missing. The storm made landfall in Toamasina, the country's second largest city, with winds reaching 195 kilometers per hour, causing widespread damage and power outages. According to the National Office for Risk and Disaster Management, 32 persons were seriously injured and over 6,800 residents were displaced from their homes. President Michael Randrarirana visited Toamasina to survey the damage, with his office reporting that around 75% of the city's infrastructure had been damaged or destroyed. Moving on to other stories, there have been a boat sink that have found several injured in Sudan and in the River Nile, leaving 29 persons dead. We'll take a very short break right now. When we return, more stories on business and sports will be up next. Please stay with us. Glad to have you back. Now to some business stories. South Africa's beef exports have declined by 26% in 2025, despite growing global demands due to China's ban on the country's red meat products following a severe foot and mouth disease outbreak. The disease has spread to 7 of the country's 9 provinces since early 2025. Beef shipments to China, South Africa's third largest export market in 2024, fell 69% to 1,687 metric tons last year after the ban was imposed in May, according to Red Meat Industry Services. The government plans to vaccinate 80% of the national herd, estimated at 12 million cattle, and has rolled out its first foot and mouth vaccine in 20 years. The outbreak has led to significant economic losses, with potential reduction in export earnings and increased food prices. Farmers are calling for government support to contain the disease. And to wrap up the African news, we'll go straight talking sports. The stage is set for a thrilling conclusion to the CAF Champions League group phase, with only 3 of the 8 knockout spots confirmed. Pyramids FC, Al Ahly, and Stade Malien have secured their places in the quarterfinals, while 5 teams will battle it out for the remaining spots. In Group A, Bekane and Power Dynamos are neck and neck for second place, with Bekane hosting eliminated Rivers United and Power Dynamos facing Pyramids. In Group B, FAR Rabat and Young Africans are fighting for the second spot, with Al Ahly hosting FAR Rabat and Young Africans facing Kabylie. Group C is deemed the most competitive, with Al Hilal Omdurman, MC Alger, Mamelodi Sundowns, and St. Eliu Lupopo all in contention. Hilal hosts Lupopo, while Sundowns takes on MC Algiers in a winner-takes-all match. In Group D, Esperance de Tunis and Petro Atletico are locked in a battle for the second qualification spot, with Esperance hosting Petro. And with that sports story, we've come to the end of African News right here on Voice of the People Television. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we're at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Thank you so very much for being a part of these broadcasts. I am David Edwin. You have a good afternoon.
Mr. Ofamiloni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arararara, my name is Made Kuti and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators,